If you are unsure if you're about to lose belly fat or not, here are 7 big signs or indicators that you are on the right track. And if you aren't noticing any of these, there's a big chance that you are not approaching weight loss correctly. So this first sign might surprise you, and it's actually a good one. So let's say you started to lose weight. Have you ever gone to bed where you have a little bit of hunger? Like you're sitting there laying in bed and you're like, dang, I want to go out to the kitchen and grab that snack. Or maybe even you lay in bed and you're freaking starving. This leads me to sign number 1, which is you have slight hunger before bed. Think about it like the battery on your phone. When your phone gets down to 20%, it hits you with a notification and it says, you're at 20%. Would you like to go into low power mode? This is a lot like being hunger in a calorie deficit when you are losing weight. When you eat less than you burn on a daily basis, your body is sending a signal to your brain telling you, dude, you're freaking hungry. So this is a sign to you, oh, I am in a calorie deficit. Now, there's a massive difference between that 20% signal that you get on your phone and that 10% signal where it goes red. You don't want to be in that 10% signal on your diet. You don't want to feel starving when you go to bed. You don't want to only be thinking about food all day long. That is a negative signal to you. You should be in that roughly like 20 to 40% battery level on your hunger. Now, if you're experiencing that level where you're freaking starving, or maybe just run one day out of the week, you feel starving, go have a small meal. Go eat something. Now, if you're never having that slight hunger, then this is a problem. This means you're probably not in a calorie deficit. This means you're probably not eating less than you really think that you are, because your body should be telling you that you are a little bit hungry. But here's the thing. Hunger alone doesn't prove fat loss, because you can still be hungry and not be losing fat. Because this next sign is a real giveaway that you can notice without even stepping on a scale. I want you to think about your body like this paper towel roll. If I were to take one piece of paper towel off, you wouldn't notice. If I were to take 2 pieces of paper towel off, you wouldn't notice. Now, if you were to take off 20 or 30, I'm not going to do that here because tough world out there right now. Need to save as much money as possible. But if I were to take off a ton, you would start to see noticeable changes on this paper towel roll. Your body is just like this paper towel roll. It sends you signs and signals to show you that you're on the right track, even when those days that you feel like you're making no progress. And this is sign number 2, where your clothes start to fit better. Have you ever noticed that your pants start to get a little looser? Maybe the next time you go buy a pair of jeans, you're like, dang, I can fit into that size 32 now. Or one that happens to me all the time is my watch. I will notice I can take it down a watch. It starts to feel a little looser. I'm like, I need to bump this down. Otherwise, it feels like it might fall off. Or you may not have noticed, well, I don't have a ring yet, but I'm engaged, so I will have a ring. But you may notice that your ring starts to feel looser. It starts to feel like it's going to fall off. You might even resize it a little bit. Or maybe you have a light colored shirt, because dark colors, for some reason, for me at least, I tend to feel way better in them. But if you have a light colored shirt, maybe one of your ones that you enjoy to wear, you start noticing, dang, I look a little bit better in that. I'm not seeing the little pudgy part on my stomach when I'm in this or looking at it in the mirror. So I'm here to tell you the scale is not the only thing that's going to measure progress. You are going to start seeing it in different ways throughout your fat loss journey. Now, here's a sign that is happening on the inside that most people don't even realize. I want you to think about this balloon like your stomach. When you eat a lot of food, when you are gaining weight, your stomach tends to be bigger. Why? Because you're putting more food into it. Your stomach stretches. It starts learning and adapting to what that is. So you could be eating, let's say 4,000 calories. I don't know, I'm just gonna throw a random number out there. You could be eating 4,000 calories and then eat 37 one day, and your body could be sending a signal saying, dude, I'm hungry right now, because your stomach stretches, and when you aren't giving it that level of food that it's used to, it sends a signal to your brain saying, I'm hungry, I need to eat more. Now, when you start to eat a little bit less, your stomach will continuously get a little bit smaller. So you're going to start noticing that you are going to be more full on less food, which is going to be sign number 3, that you get more full when you eat less food. Now, your stomach's going to adapt, obviously, but let's say you were eating 4,000 calories prior and you just slash that into 2,000 calories, you're obviously going to feel freaking starving. Whereas if you were to continuously do this over time and your stomach started adapting to being smaller, you could eat less and feel more full, whereas maybe in the past you would not have been there before. You may not even realize this, but people who do those disgusting hot dog eating contests, contests, I can't watch them. I hate when people freaking dump the whole thing, like the bread into the water and it's stuffed in their mouth. That just disgusts me. I don't know, something about, like I had a friend growing up that one time, he would sit and he would eat food and then drink while the food's still in his mouth. It was the most disgusting thing to me ever, but whatever, I digress. I don't know if you noticed, when people do these hot dog eating contests, they train their stomachs. They have to train their stomachs to eat more food. Or those people that are doing those food eating challenge videos online, they have to train their bodies or their stomachs ahead of time to be able to handle that much food. Your stomach works in a very similar way when you're losing weight. And actually, in a weird way, it's kind of one of the first signs that I start paying attention to when I take on a client who wants to lose weight. I start seeing, are they getting more full on the foods that they're having? If they're not, then we are probably picking the wrong foods, because you should still have some level of fullness, some level where maybe you're not starving all the freaking time when you're trying to lose weight. And the reason a lot of people don't actually learn how to see these long-term weight loss results is they don't know how to structure their diet or their deficit properly. So I've made an entirely free mini course. You can click the link in the description, completely free, if you want to know how to set up a step-by-step system to create a structure that's going to help you lose weight. Now, with that being said, this next sign is about how you are tracking progress, and most people are doing it completely wrong. Look, I know you because I was in your dang shoes. I know you are stepping on the scale one morning and you are getting excited when the scale drops a couple pounds. Or the next day you step on it and now you're pissed off when it spikes up 2 pounds in one day. You are seeing progress like this. What you are doing is maybe day 1, you weigh at, let's say, 171 pounds. And then day 8, you weigh 168 pounds. And then maybe day 13 rolls around and you weigh 170 pounds. And then day 17 rolls around, you weigh 169 pounds. Most people start to see this and they feel confused. They get excited randomly and then they get pissed off randomly. But this is a sign you need to pay attention to. And that sign is trends going down over time. Most people get so caught up in what does the scale say today? And although I think it's a great idea to track your weight daily so you can get accurate trends, I think the problem is you're assessing your entire progress from the day before, that night before. Maybe you went out to eat and it spiked up and now you're like, that was the worst thing ever. You're assessing that entire progress on one flipping day. It's normal to see it spike up and it's normal to see it spike down. You need to be able to track these weights over time, take a step back and see, am I getting a trend line going down? What even is a trend line? It's the average of all your weights. So is my weight trending down over time? Because you are going to have days it spikes up and you're going to have days it spikes down, and you need to learn to live with that. And while the scale average is trending down over time, your body is actually giving you another sign that you can actually start tracking with a tape. I want you to think about your body like you are packing a suitcase for vacation. There are ways to pack this bad. And I know this from experience. If you rolled up all your clothes and just threw it into the suitcase, it would get full very fast. If you started to fold it up, you would be able to put more clothes in your suitcase. Now, my fiance got these things recently. It's called a packing cube. If you don't know what a packing cube is, it makes it so it's more efficient to pack. I thought these things were stupid. I thought they were pointless. I thought it was something that was going to be dumb to buy. Little did I know, you start putting your clothes in this, you zip it up, it is so much easier to compress your clothes within that suitcase. So if you were to sit there and just stuff all your clothes in versus pack all your clothes with these packing cubes in the suitcase, you could put way more into that suitcase. And if you're like me, you want to freaking pack everything in that suitcase and have options when you go on vacation, because you're like, I don't know what shirt I want to wear this day, or with these pants, or this outfit, whatever it is. You want to pack as much as physically possible, obviously without going over the weight limit. Your fat works the same freaking way as this dang packing cube, which is sign 5, is that you can be losing inches off your body and your weight can be staying the exact same. I know it sounds confusing, but this is very true. If you are brand new to strength training, and if you are in a calorie deficit and losing fat, you can actually be losing fat off your body and still stay the same weight because you are gaining muscle at the same time. And one of the best ways to know this and track this is by using what we call a measuring tape. So if you were to go get fitted for a dress or get fitted for a suit, they would use a tape to measure. Use this for your fat loss. So you can take this tape and you can measure around your arm. You can measure around your waist. You can't see me doing it. You can measure around your thigh. You can measure it around your glutes. You can measure it in lots of places, but those are gonna be the big ones that you can do. And what you're gonna start noticing is there will be times where these measurements start to drop, but the scale stays maybe the same, or it doesn't drop as much as you think it really should be. Because if you're new to strength training, you can build muscle and lose fat at the exact same time. And this is confusing to a lot of people. That's why it's important to not only use the scale, because adding muscle to your body is like having that tight packed suitcase. You can actually weigh more by packing more into that suitcase, even though the appearance may look different. And a little fun fact here, for every 1 inch that you lose off of your waist, you actually lose roughly about 6.5 pounds of fat. A lot of people on the internet are talking about body recomping right now. This is what body recomping is. It's when you gain muscle and lose fat at the same time. Now, most people miss this next sign to fat loss because they're expecting big visible changes. But your body actually starts to give you small little clues first. You wake up randomly one day, and like I said, maybe you put on that light colored shirt and you don't see that little bump on your stomach anymore. Or you start looking in the mirror and you notice, oh, maybe I have a little bit more of like a line on my face, like a jawline on my face, or I don't have as much of that double chin anymore. I have that little bump on my arm now, so I'm starting to see a little bit of muscle come through. Or you look in the mirror, you look at your back and you're like, whoa, my back looks a little bit more toned than it used to. Or another big one that I start noticing is I start noticing veins will start to come in through my body when I am starting to lose fat. And you're not going to notice this every single day when you're losing fat. And that, yes, that's frustrating, but there will be a day where you're like, oh, wow, I made progress here. I'm actually starting to see the progress that I'm making. Because let's be honest, everybody sure wants to weigh a certain number, but you care more what that look really is. You care more that you're losing that stomach pudge, that your arms are less flabby. And this is sign number 6, where you start to see hints of definition. This is literally where you start to feel like fat loss is actually happening, where it's actually starting to work. And like I said, your body is not going to just do a ton of it all at once. You are going to see hints over time. This is also why it's very important and why I encourage my clients to take progress pictures every single month. Because if you do this, you're gonna start noticing changes that happen to your body over that last month that maybe you didn't notice before. It's like that same feeling where you go to a holiday and somebody says to you, you look so different than you used to look. So because you have a tough time seeing yourself since you see yourself in the mirror every single day. Whereas if you took pictures every single month, you would start to notice these changes more frequently. Now, this final sign is one that I see barely anyone ever talk about, and I think is one of the most important ones. You know how weight loss feels in the beginning. Motivation is extremely high. You feel like super excited to get tons of steps in. You feel super excited because you're like, I'm gonna look the way I want to. I'm gonna get the dream body that I want. You have no issue going and getting a few workouts in. Motivation is high for like a week, 2 weeks, maybe even 3 weeks. Then you get to a point where maybe you're not seeing progress as fast as you saw it in the beginning, and you start having self-doubt. You start sitting there wondering, like, what am I doing wrong? Why is nothing working? Why am I not that dream body that I want? This is sign number 7, which is you're having some self-doubt, which I think is a good sign, and people might disagree with me on this. And here's why I think it's a good sign. When you have self-doubt, this means you've gotten past that easy part, the part where you're super motivated, where most people get there. Like it's not hard to be in that first week or 3 weeks. It's hard to get past that point. If you're having self-doubt, you've made it past that point. Now, you got to make the decision. Do I keep going or do I not keep going? Obviously, I'm going to sit here and tell you, keep going. Now, you also need to understand, and social media makes this a little foggy, that having self-doubt is totally normal and totally okay. I lost 70 pounds, and I can tell you right now, I had self-doubt a ton. There were times I wanted to quit. There were times I didn't want to keep going. There were times where I thought, oh man, this is not working today. But guess what? If you keep going, you will get to the goal you want. Is it going to be as fast as you want it to? I don't know. But it is a good sign when you start to see this, because that means you are past that big hump that a lot of people will struggle to get through. So if you're having some self-doubt and the scale just feels like it's stuck and you're just gaining the same pound and losing the same pound, even though you may be noticing some of these signs that I've talked about today, then if you don't understand this, then you may not see your shift in weight loss. So watch this next video here where I break it down completely to make sure you get past that hump.